Experimental probability. You can calculate theoretical probabilities when you know all the possible outcomes and all the outcomes are equally likely. Sometimes, however, you might not know what all the outcomes are. For example, the next car that drives past your house is red. Or the number of times you hit the bullseye. So experimental probability is used to estimate the probability of an event. An experiment is a series of trials. And for experimental probability, we have a general formula. So experimental probability, often referred to as relative frequency, is equal to the number of successful trials divided by the total number of trials. So let's have a look at an example. So the experimental probability that the next car is red. So that would be the number of red cars seen divided by the number of cars observed. So if we were to see 24 red cars out of a possible 80 cars that passed, the formula for this specific example would be 24 divided by 80. Here's another example. So Paul and Jen threw a pin and recorded the number of times it landed with a point down and the number of times it landed with a point up. So we have to find the estimated probability, which is the experimental probability, or relative frequency, that the pin landed down for both Paul and Jenny, and then we have to explain which value is more reliable. So let's have a look first at the probability that the pin lands down for Jenny. So that is 105 times that landed down out of a possible 300 times. And then for Paul, it landed down 36 times out of a possible 100 times. Now, when we have to decide which one's more reliable, we can see that Jenny's had a larger number of trials and is generally considered that the more trials that you do, the more reliable the answer. Now it's your turn to answer some questions. Pause the video, then try these. How did you do? Here are the answers. If you answered any incorrectly, have a look back through the video and try again.